substances like tree barks and plant roots. So why don't national health strategies fully take all this into account? To answer these and other questions, we welcome the World Health Organization's new Global Center for Traditional Medicine. A bold new vision that starts in Jamnagar, Gujarat in India, but has a truly global reach. A center to support evidence and data, sustainability and innovation.
Hello and welcome. It is 7:30 in the evening in India and we are back again with a spotlight on G20. It was the second day of the G20 Health Working Group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. Main sessions have concluded in Kerala, but events will continue on the sidelines tomorrow. The day started today for G20 delegates with morning yoga on the picturesque Kovalam beach in God's own country. There was focus on medical value tourism, value-based healthcare and traditional medicine too. On India at G20 today, we ask, how is India promoting holistic healthcare as G20 president? I'm Manun Bhattacharya. First up, the top stories. G20 delegates start the second day in Thiruvananthapuram with morning yoga by the beautiful Kovalam beach. Under India's G20 presidency, key focus is on promoting holistic health and amalgamation of traditional systems of medicine and healthcare service delivery. G20 delegates deliberate on using digital health innovations and solutions for universal health coverage and improving healthcare service delivery. WHO's Director of Digital Health and Innovation says India has demonstrated that foundational investments can enable transformation into technologically mature systems, of which Aadhaar is an example. Union Minister of State for Health Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar inaugurates a side event on medical value travel, says policy imperative to promote medical value travel needs to gain momentum, urges stakeholders to make a unique blueprint for the future of medical value travel through effective collaborations. And let's straight go across for perspective to Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha. He is a Union Secretary, Ayush Ministry, is joining us directly from Thiruvananthapuram, the capital of Kerala, where the G20 Health Working Group meeting is underway. Such a pleasure to have you, Vaidya Kotecha ji, on India at G20. I was going through the Bali Declaration and I could find no mention there of either yoga or Ayush. So that brings me to the question, is promotive and preventive healthcare going to be India's unique contribution as G20 president?
Actually, this
Right, Vaidya Kotecha, we will...
you can see that after this, and today immediately in the afternoon,
No, we cannot hear you clearly, sir. Maybe we can attempt a reconnection in a bit. Before that,
okay.
Yeah, right. Can we attempt to reconnect with Secretary? Okay, sir. Let's try this again. I was asking you if this is going to be India's unique contribution as G20 president, emphasis on promotive and preventive healthcare.
Yes, actually this is the one of the important thing that India is trying to get into the G20, that traditional medicine, wellness, holistic health, One Health is on the forefront during these discussions. And as a matter of fact, there is a side event of medical value travel where Ayush industries are participating in a very big manner, and these G20 delegates are visiting the Somathiram resort of Ayurveda. Is a very big resort in Kerala, just to showcase the Ayurveda tourism, Ayurveda medical value travel, how much is possible in our country.
So what were the impressions that the G20 delegates had? They were participating in morning yoga session, and there was emphasis on medical value travel as well. They had gone to a PM Jan Aushadhi center as well in Thiruvananthapuram. So what are their impressions of how India is taking forward promotive and preventive healthcare?
It's really, Munu, this is really interesting that you may see that a lot of delegates has come for the yoga session. They were very enthusiastic and they have well received it. They stayed for almost more than an hour for the yoga session. And then this showcasing of India's health system in integrative care, our vaccine development and our health system per se all over the country and in Kerala, everything was showcased well, and they were highly appreciative about India's strength, particularly in the area of integrative medicine and Ayush and traditional medicine and their strength and wellness. All those things are appreciated, and in One Health perspective, there is a discussion pending and it is going on.
And for the benefit of the viewers, can you tell us about how effective Ayush products and services have been in the fight against COVID-19? What is the evidentiary basis of the way Ayush products were used to combat COVID-19?
Actually, you can, through this platform, I am happy to share that Ayush Ministry and with the collaboration of lot of institutions like ICMR, DBT, lot of medical colleges, we were able to conduct more than 150 studies, and there were 2 repurposed medicines and lot of preventive aspects have been identified, and then evidence has been generated. So through this, the Ayush Ministry and through Ayush modalities were able to help the people in a very big manner, working with neck to neck with the Health Ministry. We were able to penetrate through the states. And states has also contributed a lot. There is a document Niti Aayog has prepared about the integration of Ayush during COVID-19, and it is a wonderful benchmark document. Different states have contributed a lot into the Ayush intervention, and people are benefited through these interventions. And we all know that Ayush has helped in COVID crisis in a very big manner.
Right, and we are aware that the WHO and India are together setting up a global center for traditional medicine in Jamnagar,
yes.
Gujarat. It's the first ever such center, and India has been
yes.
chosen for that, given the kind of reputation that India has
yes.
as a country that has been practicing traditional medicine for millennia.
Yes.
Are G20 nations on board on something like this as well?
Actually, I want to add one very important information that I want to share is that as a parallel event in August, when health ministers for this health track are coming from all G20 countries and participating countries in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, with the help of WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine and Government of India, Ministry of Ayush, together we are organizing a global event of traditional medicine under GCTM. So it will be a parallel event where we are envisaging that all these health ministers will participate and then talk about traditional medicine, where WHO Director General is also scheduled to come. So we are trying that traditional medicine is discussed at length in these countries and implemented in a very big manner into commerce, into research, into practice and evidence generation and education. Everywhere it is implemented. That is what we are envisaging.
Right. We are aware that these health working group meetings, they feed into the ministerial declaration, and then they feed into the New Delhi declaration or the G20
yes.
country declaration.
Yes. Yes.
What are the deliverables that we are looking at which should, as per India, find its way into the ministerial declaration and finally into the New Delhi declaration in terms of Ayush?
We are working with the health ministry because they are the nodal ministry. So we have discussed this at length, and we are trying that in the health minister's declaration, subsequently the leaders' declaration, the specific area of traditional medicine like integrative care, forum for traditional medicine at G20, all those things are achieved.
Okay, and beyond that, how are you looking at integration with modern medicine? Are we also
Yes,
Are we also looking at traditional medicine of various countries in a collaborative platform so as to ensure that benefits of traditional medicine across countries reach a wider cross section of people around the world?
that is what purpose. That is why government of India is helping WHO to have this event of global event of traditional medicine, where we will generate this ecosystem of generating evidence, talking about each other's traditional medicine, and getting into mainstream in an integrative manner. Integrative manner means that whatever is good in these traditional medicines should be translated into the public health delivery system, which is happening in India and in all lot of other countries. For example, we have invited one expert from Germany for this tomorrow's medical will travel event, and she is representing a very big neurology hospital in one of the city of Germany, where they are doing integrative care for the neurological patients like Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis and all those neurodegenerative disorders. They are using Ayurveda, yoga, and modern medicine together to help the people, the patient. So that type of education is happening in other countries also. So what we are trying to do is that under this platform, under India's G20 presidency, these evidences, these practices are translated at very large scale into these countries, and their people are benefited at large.
Right, and we heard from the Health Minister ahead of the Health Working Group meeting that India will soon be launching a Heal in India initiative, and there's so much focus today on medical value travel and tourism as well. So is there going to be synergy between the two?
There is a lot of synergy. I want to cite this example that this evening, when Honorable Minister of State Bhartiben have launched this medical travel side event, there is a big showcase of both these industries together. Like big hospital chains, they are there in this, they showcase in an expo, and then Ayush industries also there. They are neck to neck. They are working together, and there is a good showcase of this synergy of thoughts and practices into this medical value travel event at G20 presidency under health tech.
And there is also focus on value-based healthcare. What is India's vision for it as G20 president?
Actually, value-based healthcare is very important component. The India's argument or India's message or saying is that we should all work together as a one health and one family, and for the benefit of the people, if we can offer some affordable solution to the patients who have to wait a lot in different countries for small procedures or surgeries or small medical things, we should create an ecosystem under this presidency or in all these countries that patients gets benefited and they get affordable solution for their care, and then through this we want to achieve universal health coverage. This is wonderful modality that we work together and achieve this.
Right. Towards the end, I want to ask you that India has a vision for preventive and promotive health care to achieve universal health coverage. But are the other G20 countries on board? Also, what is the view of the low and middle income countries as India wants to promote the voice of the global south at G20? Are they all on board? Is there broadly consensus on what India has envisioned?
It is too early because the discussion has just started yesterday. This is first meeting. There are such 4 meetings are being visualized before the health minister's declaration coming. So it is too early for me to comment on it. I think I'm not authorized to speak on behalf of other countries,
right.
But I'm sure that there is a lot of curiosity and consensus is building, and we will see when these health minister's declarations come in for the leaders' declaration input, and I'm sure that it will come as a consensus.
So positive signals so far. Thank you so much, Vaidya Rajesh Katocha, for joining us from Thiruvananthapuram and for sharing your perspective on the day 2 of the Health Working Group meeting of G20 in Thiruvananthapuram. The spotlight on the second day of the G20 Health Working Group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram was on yoga, digital health and medical value tourism. Here's a snapshot of how the day went by.
The day 2 of G20 delegates in Thiruvananthapuram started with a relaxing yoga session. G20 delegates performed yoga by the scenic Kovalam beach. Under India's G20 presidency, a key focus area is promoting holistic health, an amalgamation of traditional systems of medicine in healthcare service delivery.
I enjoyed it very much, even I'm not so flexible, so it was relaxing but also demanding.
I really enjoyed the experience of yoga. I haven't done it for a long time.
It was such a relaxing way to start the morning. Beautiful and just really well paced. And I love that it was both the yoga and the breathing. So ready for another long day of meetings now.
The morning yoga session was followed by deliberations on how digital health innovations and solutions can aid universal health coverage and improve healthcare service delivery. The delegates underscored the need for a robust strategy that integrates financial, organizational, human and technological resources to guide national or regional digital health initiatives.
India is an incredible country in terms of manufacturing, in terms of digital health, in terms of technology.
I think this is an opportunity for Commonwealth and with India's leadership to progress on multiple fronts on innovation and technology to solve today's problems, to help us achieve sustainable and inclusive development.
A side event on medical value travel was inaugurated by Union Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar.
We also have something unique in India, our culture of traditional medicines like Ayurveda and Unani. This caters to an important content of preventive and promotive aspect of healthcare besides curative health services. India envisions to accelerate the efforts towards health system transformation, increasing the pace of implementation of value-based healthcare and achieving the goal of universal health coverage across the world. With the G20 Indian presidency, the multilateral collaborations between the countries facilitated by knowledge sharing leading to formulation of effective policies aiding accessible, affordable and quality healthcare to citizens across the world.
The event featured panel discussions on holistic well-being through integrated healthcare, building resilient and sustainable medical travel and strengthening such travel through partnerships. G20 delegates toured KIMS Health Hospital as part of medical value travel. With inputs from Aisha Khanam and Nitendra Singh from Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, DD India.
The delegates also got an opportunity to experience Kerala's art and culture at an art and crafts village. Speaking to DD India, Dr. Alain Labrique, Director of Digital Health and Innovation at WHO, said that India has shown that foundational investments can enable transformation into technologically mature systems, of which Aadhaar is an example. He called for a global shift from a pilot or project approach to an ecosystem framework to build a solid foundation for global health systems digitally. Listen in.
India 5 years ago is very different to India today. And the same can be said for countries across the globe in the global south. And so we have to think about where we are today, but also build solutions for tomorrow. And keep in mind that everyone should benefit from this technology revolution. So success is built on trust. And trust means that there is a background of policy, of legislation that protects the privacy and security and builds the trust of individuals to use these systems. So I think that's the foundational place where I would like to see India shining as a beacon to other countries to learn from. What are those elements of legislation and policy that need to be in place for digital success to be possible?
DD India correspondent Aisha Khanam also spoke to former Chief Scientist of WHO, Soumya Swaminathan, on the lessons that the world must learn from the COVID-19 pandemic in order to build a robust and fairer global health architecture. Listen in.
So how do you analyze this entire health infrastructure, health structure across the globe? Globally, we saw that, the investments in primary healthcare and public health were very important. The second lesson, I think, is the importance of investing in science and research and development for countries, because we saw that countries which had a strong base, they actually did much better. I think the third lesson was that the global connections, collaborations, and working together, which is very nicely encapsulated by India's theme for the G20, which is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam.
Change is also being talked about, that is digital health, strengthening the health infrastructure digitally.
Technology is going to play a very important role, but we cannot let technology dominate us. We have to be in control. The government particularly needs to really have a very strong governance and stewardship, which is exactly what India has done in terms of establishing the India Stack and establishing the National Digital Health Mission and Blueprint.
DD India correspondent Asha Khanam spoke to Dr. Y.K. Gupta, an expert on antimicrobial resistance, a key imponderable under the health track. Listen in.
So much of concern that there is no antibiotic left which is effective, and the cause is A, misuse or overuse of antibiotics, B, the non-availability of effective antibiotic against those organisms which have become resistant, C, because this is a concern not only for the human being but for the animal, for the environment as well. Therefore, there are few important things which are concerns. A is the creating an awareness among the physician, public and the industry as well, and the diagnostic, that what is the relevance of rational prescription or rational medication. Avoid the antimicrobial agents where it is not required. Give the antimicrobial agent with justification where it is required in right dose for right duration.
DD India correspondent Aisha Khanam also spoke to healthcare personnel manning a medical room equipped with first aid for the G20 delegates at the venue of the first health working group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. Take a listen.
Basically a first aid unit, and whatever things come under the umbrella of first aid, we can manage here, and we have all medicines, all setups. Both of us are monitoring this team. There are 5 doctors, then 3 nursing staff and 3 nursing assistants are there. Nobody is symptomatic, nobody has come for screening for COVID.
And we now leave you with a cultural extravaganza that depicted traditional dance forms and art of Kerala and left G20 delegates in thrall in Thiruvananthapuram. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
On our Republic Day, as India comes together in all its beauty, diversity and strength, to celebrate with pride, joy and reverence. Come, join us for the live telecast as the tricolour flutters in our hearts, homes and hopes on the 26th of January, only on Doordarshan.
इतनी जल्दी पैसे डबल?
ओ, जमा करोगे तो फिर भुगतोगे। चलो, ऐसे लुभाने वाली स्कीम में पैसे जमा करना यानी धोखे की संभावना, इसलिए पहले पूरी जांच, उसके बाद पैसे जमा, नहीं तो आपके पैसे हो जाएंगे पुर्र। आरबीआई कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
सांसों में छिपा है ये, पुरखों की कृपा है ये, दिखलाएगा रास्ता। दुनिया में प्रसिद्ध जो, अपने आप सिद्ध जो, रखना इस पे आस था। योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो। विश्व को भेंट दी हमने, योग है। योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, जो सुलझा दे जीवन को वो योग है। जो सुलझा दे जीवन को वो योग है। अथ योगानुशासनम्, अथ योगानुशासनम्। बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते, तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व। योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्, योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्। अथ योगानुशासनम्, अथ योगानुशासनम्। भारत ने ही योग सिखाया, जग में फैलाया, विश्व ने अपनाया, नियंत्रण आया रोग पे। विश्व ने जैसे है पाया जो अधिकार ये, अब आरोग्य पे है सब हो पाया योग से। सदियों से रहा है ये, सब ही ने कहा है ये, हरदम देगा आसरा। अथ योगानुशासनम्, अथ योगानुशासनम्। योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, ये शरीर और मन का संजोग है। योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, जो सुलझा दे जीवन को वो योग है। जो सुलझा दे जीवन को वो योग है।
we have fast-rising squash player Anahat Singh with us. Congratulations on winning under 15 British Open. First, tell me, how big is this for you?
It's one of the biggest international tournaments in the whole world with players from all over the country and different levels, and I'm really excited to have just gotten the opportunity to play a part of it. And
Share with us in detail, how was that experience of competing in Commonwealth Games?
like Commonwealth, it's the biggest tournament you can play because squash is not in the Olympics, so it's something every squash player dreams of, and like that I got to do it at 14 and at such a young age. I couldn't believe it until I was actually there.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of India Ideas, the weekly show which is all about science and tech, innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm Gautam Roy. Today we're profiling a sector among Indian startups which holds a lot of promise for keeping India's flag flying higher internationally and giving it a lot of economic and strategic advantage in the days to come. It's a sector which has recently been opened up by the government to private players and has had a bumper year compared to all the years earlier in 2022. You've guessed it right, it's space tech. The space tech sector in India has seen a sea change since the government opened it up to participation by the private sector in 2020. It also launched In Space, which is meant for promoting, hand-holding and authorizing space activities by private players. 111 space tech startups are registered on the In Space digital platform so far. Space tech funding jumped 61.5% in 2022. It went from $108.52 plus million in 2022 compared to $67.2 million in 2021. Now, of the $245.35 million received by the sector in the last 7 years, $198.22 plus million has come post 2020. 2022 saw Indian space tech startup Skyroot Aerospace launch India's first private sector rocket successfully, putting a suborbital satellite in space, and it also saw another Indian space tech startup Agnikul Cosmos inaugurating India's first private launch pad and mission control center at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. But there are more milestones and successes in store. Let's dive into space tech emerging startup ecosystem star with our guests, and they are Anuj Sharma, co-founder Earth Analytics, which is focusing on measuring nature with remote sensing with geospatial and satellite data to come up with a remote sensing based algorithm to measure soil, to measure regenerative agriculture and to see how to catalyze conservation finance in it. We also have Srinath Ravichandran, founder and CEO Agnikul Cosmos, which is a very cool company which is democratizing access to space by designing, manufacturing, testing and launching orbital class rockets for microsatellites and nanosatellites. It has many feathers in its cap, including being the first space tech company in the world really to 3D print an entire rocket engine in a single piece, reducing the rocket's cost, complexity and assembly time from 12 weeks to less than 48 hours. And Anirudh A. Damani is also with us, managing partner, Earth Venture Fund, which has investments in 100+ startups across India, the US, Israel, Africa and the UK, including in Agnikul Cosmos. Welcome to you all. Anuj, let me start with you. Tell us a little bit more about Earth Analytics that, than I said in my intro really, and where exactly does it fit in to the space tech startup ecosystem?
Thanks a lot for inviting us here. So very excited to be part of it. So we are primarily incubated by IIT Kanpur, and we have a cutting-edge technology where we are using satellites to measure soil carbon. That's one very important initiative. So what we are doing is, if you look around, the space tech is involved in a big way. And there has also been a very amazing evolution in this whole sector, is that we can do lots of data analytics and lots of, I will say, inside, like you can measure